So hello everyone,
Hello.
welcome to the new day and new vlog. Today we have with us our beloved Muntasir and our VRS exam paper is
Finish.
finished.
Fortish. Completed.
And we just came out of the exam hall. And if we talk about our experience of VRS, then how will you describe it?
It was nice.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
The paper was 130 mark.
Yeah.
So I would say it is one of the largest paper because usually we saw
Yeah.
maximum like 130, 133, something like that.
Yeah.
It was of 2 hour.
Yeah.
The professor was good. He gave us like 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
We started at 8:40 or something.
Yeah.
And the exam is finished
So-
at 9:45.
So since you mentioned the time, I'll just mention this point. We have been asked that you have to reach by 8:15. We reached by 8:10. But what happened was professor and other assistants reached later.
Correct.
And they went inside the exam hall and said that you should wait outside. And then when we'll call you, then you have to come. So first we went to the washroom and other activities we did. And after that, around 8:30, I think they called us inside.
Correct.
And then they said that first, just turn the paper, go to the first page and write your name and enrollment number and your details, and then just don't see the paper questions right now. After that, he said that you will get 3 minutes of time to read the questions. So I think that was also quite...
That was quite good. At the first class, you have 3 minutes to check if there are all the questions, you understand all the questions.
Yeah.
You have do you have any doubt or not?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you can see if there is any paper missing or not.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing. We did a quick thorough and we understood that this
Yeah.
is what we need to answer and all.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was good. Apart from that, yeah, I think that there are some tricky questions.
Yeah.
For example, there are some questions that was easy in previous exams,
Yeah.
but was difficult or
taking more time. Yeah.
It's taking more time in
Yeah.
this exam.
Yeah.
But there are some questions that would take more time in previous exam.
Yeah.
But it was easy in this exam.
Yeah, and also like we got the 3 minutes time. So I think professor also mentioned it that if you want to go through the questions, you want to decide your strategy, because we do not expect you to answer all of the questions.
Correct.
So you can just go through the paper and see which questions you want to answer, and then
The
when
professor himself
Yeah.
said that it is not meant to be answered completely.
completely. Yeah. So I think it's good. We got 9 questions overall,
Yeah.
and the graph games was also I think
quite good, quite easy.
good. And talking about the other questions, so the marks were distributed, and I think LTL CTL carried more weightage, right?
Correct,
In terms of I think 23 marks question of that.
Yeah, and first question was of 20 marks, which is
Yeah.
a little bit unusual for last 2-3 papers.
Yeah, you can see, I think the paper will be uploaded. So the exact number, because we are just giving you the approx marks. So the exact number you will be able to see in the paper when it will be uploaded along with the solutions, because they usually do that. Then only you can find the previous year exam questions and solutions. So I think it is good. And as he said, for some of the questions, it was like in previous papers, the answer were different.
Correct.
Right? And the way of answering those questions was quite
Easy, I would say, but
Yeah.
like not difficult, but different.
different. Like if we talk little bit about Fourier-Motzkin or other, then there were some fraction things
Yeah,
which were
in
going
Fourier
around.
Motzkin, usually you don't need calculator. It doesn't have that
Yeah.
much fraction, but this
Yeah.
here it has lot of fractions.
Yeah, and you can take calculator since he mentioned that. So we were allowed to take calculator. I think you can also use it.
Correct.
And also the cheat sheet that we talked about, I think it was also quite helpful. If you take one and you answer
Yeah,
questions.
For example, the CTL, LTL drawing, some of them were similar to previous years.
Yeah.
So if you have the
Yeah.
previous year CTL, LTL, it would help you a
Yeah,
lot.
this is a good point, because suppose there are 2 structures. We thought that as in last paper, it was asked that you have to make one diagram which satisfies and the other which does not satisfy. But in this paper, it was like which satisfy one equation
unsatisfied.
and does not satisfy the
Unlike
other
previous,
equation.
just the last exam was different.
Different.
But before that, it was the same. They
Yeah.
have 2 equations. One is to be satisfied, another
Yeah.
needs to be dissatisfied.
Yeah, so I think this was quite a different aspect, and some of the questions were similar to, suppose the S1 structure equation is in some questions were similar and S2 was different. So,
Correct.
but the thing is one has to
get
practice that.
idea and-
You get the idea through the previous. So I think the previous exam papers were also quite helpful while attempting the paper. And talking about the initial questions now, the automata or the one that you
Yeah,
mentioned
for
just after
for
the exam.
automata, I would say that you just have to write the equations. You don't have to draw anything.
Yeah,
So that's another point. That's
Yeah.
a good point, I would say.
Yeah.
And there was weak point construction. And so there initially on the previous years they have like you have to draw the state transition diagram,
Yeah.
then breakpoint and then subset.
Yeah.
But this year it was like they have given the
Diagram,
figure,
yeah.
and then you have to just draw a breakpoint and then
and,
subset.
and the subset construction you have to define. And also in one of the questions, I think that F arrow thing came.
Yeah,
You remember? That was different
unusual.
symbol.
Unusual.
That was
This
quite
Arun
different.
Gauta,
Yeah.
We didn't have encountered if arrow, but it was
Yeah.
first time.
It was quite different, and also the when. So when also came in some of the questions. So I think the some of the questions were similar, but for some of the questions, obviously it was quite different. And it was, but some of the formulas which were mentioned in the cheat sheet, including those symbols, one can refer and then try to answer those questions. But it was an interesting exam, I would
It was an
say.
interesting exam.
Yeah.
How the time flies, you can't realize. It's
Yeah.
like you start the exam and then see okay, 2 hours is finished.
Yeah, and the thing is, sometimes I think you get time to revise, or you just have to attempt continuously and decide your strategy. Like the professor also mentioned that you decide your sequence, because we don't ask you to mandatorily attempt all of the questions. So I think this was quite good. And if we just summarize the overall experience.
So the overall experience, I would say, practice a lot.
Yeah.
Practice the previous year exam question.
Yeah.
And if you understand the previous exam question properly,
Yeah.
go to the exam. It will be good.
Yeah.
It will be. You will be satisfied that okay, whatever I did good.
Yeah.
And it's not like that any fixed strategy. For example, I had some strategy or some
Yeah.
ordering in plan
Yeah.
in my mind. But when I saw that exam question in 3 minutes,
Yeah.
I changed my strategy instantly
Yeah.
and solved it that way.
Yeah, so I think this is also a good question, that once the good point that if you go through the question paper, then you can modify or decide your strategy, because it depends on person to person and your practice.
Correct.
We can share our experience, but it depends on individual practice how you attempt the paper. But I think if one practice, then he or she should be good to go with the VRS exam, the 8 credit exam. Our first 8 credit exam is
Of this semester.
of this, actually of our masters, our first 8 credit exam is done. And I hope you also get some information. Paper will be uploaded in some time in Kai. I'll post the video link of what is cheat sheet and how to find the previous year questions. You can go through those videos and then get some more information, and also see the videos in RPTO Kai Slaughter playlist. That's it. Thank you, Muntasir, for sharing the insights. And rest, like, comment, share, subscribe. It doesn't take much time. Bye bye. Ciao, ciao. Namaste.
Assalamu alaikum.
Chalo. See you in new day, new vlog.